Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Bonnie.
I know,
it's good
it's
to be
fun
back.
to see us all together again.
Yes.
Well, and we hope that you all had a Happy New Year. Certainly, I know many of us have been traveling over the holidays, and many of you have been at home in your studios doing some quilting.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes, well, we're going to catch up with that, aren't we?
Yes.
Well, and do you know what's cool about 2019 is this is the 35th anniversary year of the American Quilter Society.
Congratulations to us.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. We get to be
Yes.
35 for a whole year.
I'm ready for it.
And in addition to that, we'll be doing activities at all of our shows, in the magazine, all the things that we do here at AQS all year long.
Oh, it's going to be a fun year.
It will be.
A non-stop party all year long.
All year long.
So join us. We'd love to have you come along and celebrate with us. So Bonnie, we just finished Christmas Countdown 2018.
I know. And boy, they were anxious for that last block, weren't they?
They were. They were. I got the notice early. Hey, can you get that out there early? And I was like, absolutely. So
Jumped right on it.
they were. Yes. Oh, I'm all for excited quilters. That's a wonderful thing. And so we have 3 different people that got all 25 blocks done quick as a whistle. I know we'll be seeing more and more coming in, but if you'll take a look, we have Darlene Bean Hammers. Aren't they just lovely? And then Irina Kosova. And she had some extras in there. And Susie Karcher. And lovely job. So
They were
beautiful.
so well done.
So amazing.
So
and
they
really
get the
nice.
gold sticker for having
They
them done
definitely
right on
get gold
time.
stickers.
that's a lot of work during a really, really
Or red
busy
and white
season.
stickers, maybe.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Red and white would be good.
And
Yes.
so for everybody else still working, keep them coming. Keep those little blocks posted in the Christmas Countdown group on Facebook.
And those blocks are out there for them, so they could still join that if they
yes.
want, couldn't they?
Yes.
Oh, at any time, or they could do them all.
Yes, and I'll continue on with the 100 block quilt, and I will be sewing for forever. And so you just join us there and share your blocks. We'll love to see them, and I'll continue to share my progress as I go along with that.
Well, and the
fun.
other question that people are already asking,
Yes,
will we do this again in 2019?
Of course, it's so much fun. We will definitely have a Christmas Countdown 2019. The change will be is now that we've completed these 4 years of 100 blocks, we're actually going to change the block size. We were tied into that size so that we could complete
so that we could
the
get
whole
100 block
100 blocks.
quilt. They had to be small blocks, and so now that we have accomplished that, or are accomplishing that, for 2019, our block size will go a little bit bigger. I thought smaller wouldn't work out so well.
Oh, and Betsy, okay, Betsy, you didn't say where they would find the blocks if they want to join now
Okay.
and still go get those patterns.
You can find the blocks at aqsblog.com. And if you go there and visit, click on the blog, and the very top post is about the Christmas Countdown. And the 100 block quilt has all the links to the last 4 years for each year's 25 sets of blocks. And you can make any of those and make any of the quilts you want. Each year had its own unique quilt, or you can put them all together into the 100 block quilt.
And you know, I was on Pinterest over the holiday where I got to just go look. and
Imagine
play.
that.
Yes. And our blocks are also on Pinterest. And so I went and saved them in a AQS Christmas Countdown board on my Pinterest.
Bonnie,
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yes, so you might find them there as
You
well.
happy little pinner, you.
I know. I have lots of pins.
That is terrific.
And lots of topics.
Can't
too.
you just get lost on Pinterest? I can.
Yeah, you know, I have to do
For
that late
hours.
at night, so I go to bed because you can spend half the day there.
That's very true. Very true. And so that finishes up last year's. And so now we get to talk about all the new things happening in our new year. And so the first exciting thing I want to talk about is the Block 2019. Last year we did Quilt 2018, and we've talked about all the different quilting styles. We picked 12 different ones to feature. So this year we are picking 12 classic blocks, and we're going to go through those quilt blocks each month. And we will talk about the construction, and we will talk about different techniques that you use with them and how to create variations. It's going to be so much fun. And so you can take a look at the different ones. You can see all the blocks there. And so this is going to be a blast. And the ones done that you're looking at are in a specific colorway, but you can do them in any colorway you want. And you see all of your old favorites there. There's orange peel and
you're going to take them to some extraordinary changes too, aren't you? I mean, some a little different look you'll be putting.
Oh yes,
on them.
we're going to invite you to do it the old traditional way the first week, and then the next week of the month, we're going to start getting wild on you.
Good.
And you know what?
I can't wait to see that.
And they'll get to play with fabric to see what the fabric does to change the design, which is what is the fun part of quilting, is you can make it your own.
Sure.
With color, value, scale, there's so much to play with there that you can really end up with some really fun things. And because it's just a block, if you don't like it, you can throw it away when you're all done. Right?
That's right. That's right.
This is not UFO making fodder. This is something that it'll help you build skill. And then, you can play with a block. If you loved it, make a dozen, turn it into a quilt.
Hey, you mentioned UFOs. I have to tell you something. I was inspired. I printed out
Oh,
the
wonderful.
UFO, the Prioritizing UFOs Checklist.
Wonderful. It's so cool, isn't it?
Because I need this very badly. And I really appreciated what you said about sort them by how long it will take to finish. So you can have a separate list for something you might want to pick up on a weekend.
I love low-hanging fruit.
That's a great,
Or
that's a
something
great
that's
idea.
real easy that you can do in an evening.
Yeah,
isn't that wonderful?
right.
Yes.
So I just want to encourage everybody, go to the blog, find this article about prioritizing UFOs, because it'll help you. Because I know this time of year everybody's looking for a way to kind of simplify their lives and listify their lives, if nothing else.
Yes.
So,
Did you notice on Facebook how many people have spent the weekend cleaning their studios?
Oh, yes.
Oh my
Isn't that
gosh.
wonderful?
I want to invite them to my house.
I hear you there.
I didn't quite get through the studio, but I did get a pretty good job done on my kitchen. So,
That's a start.
It's a start. You have to have that cleared out before you can focus on the rest.
That's
Well, maybe not always, but.
Well, I thought I was doing just cleaning out my refrigerator.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Bonnie, I had a question for you. I know that the juring for Spring Paducah is coming up. And for many, many years, I've always wondered what happens whenever it's like this magical time when you guys jury the quilts into a show. And I always figure it like the Willy Wonka chocolate factory kind of magical world of quilting. So can you share with us just a little bit of what that experience of jurying quilts is like?
And clarify the difference between jurying and judging.
Sure, I'll do that. Well, of course, everyone has now sent in 2 photographs of their quilt. Okay. A full quilt, it has to be completely finished, so we want to see all the edges, and a detail. And I can't even begin to stress how important those are, because that's all the jury has to look at, is they're just looking at those pictures. So if you have people holding it up by their fingers, or you have it laying on the floor so you're looking at it in a bird's eye view, those are not good pictures for the jury. And a lot of times they'll just look right over those, because you really can't see how well
they
the
won't
quilt
know
hangs.
if they're straight or
That's right.
That's
the detail work.
That's right. So they go through by category. And so they'll take the first category, and if that happens to be, I'll just use hand quilted for instance. All of the quilts in that category will be hand quilted, and we do it based on a percentage of the number of entries per category. So if 25% of the entries were from the hand quilted in the hand quilted category, then they would get 25% of the quilts that we can hang in the show.
Oh,
so we usually have somewhere around a maximum here at Spring Paducah of 400 quilts that we can hang. And so 25% of that would be 100. I can tell you that percentage won't be that high. Because often we have somewhere 20 to 30 to 50 or 60 quilts that are juried into a category. But it really is based on what we receive from the quilters, because we want we want to award the money. We give $125,000 in prize money.
That's so much.
Yes, and so you want to make sure that we're getting representative of what's being made today.
right?
Right. And
All
that
right.
makes so much sense. That's so cool.
And it's well worth taking some good pictures for.
It certainly is.
Now,
yes.
would Andrea be the one that would help you if you had questions about how to get the pictures right?
Andrea Ray. So if you
Okay.
just call the AQS number, 270-898-7903, and ask for Andrea, she'll be able to answer those questions. And sometimes you can send her a picture and she'll tell you. A lot of times people want to know what category to put it in.
Oh, that's clever.
I will just say you want to make sure you read the rules and the size. It's usually
Right.
the size that disqualifies a quilt when we have to disqualify
Oh,
one
that's sad.
because it doesn't fit the category. And maybe they've put another quilt in another category where it did fit the size and this one, and so they were just kind of maybe taking a chance. Our computer will catch that for us most of the time. Yeah, it sure will. All right, so we go through all the categories, and then when it comes showtime, we will have 3 different judges. We'll look at the quilts individually here, and they do that on a table and held up. And so they will be looking at more detail than we can see in a slide.
And that's done right before the show.
It is. It's done on the weekend before the show, and then they're hung on Monday. Monday and Tuesday the quilts are hung, and then the show opens on Wednesday. But it's a 2-day job, and Paducah is the only show that we do where we give individual written critiques that the judges do. In the other shows, we don't do that because we'd have to rent the building for another day to be able to do that. Yeah. So in the other shows, we do it on Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, the quilters are contacted, and we open the show on Wednesday.
It's
So
incredible.
It's exciting.
I bet we've seen so many quilts in the 35 years we've been doing this.
Oh yes, and in fact,
Oh,
I'm
my
just
goodness.
getting
Can you
ready.
imagine?
I can't. That'd be so cool, though, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I'm just getting ready to put together a presentation for our local Kiwanis Club here later in January. And I'm going to take a quilt from every 5 years, one of the best to show quilts from every 5 years, and kind of talk about what's happened, not only in quilting, but at AQS, what we've done in the
great
last
idea.
35 years.
That is so fun.
Yes, so all I can say is get those pictures and take really good pictures.
I appreciate that.
And we still have deadlines coming up from the fall shows. That would be Grand Rapids and Fall Paducah, and a soon-to-be-named final site for the end of the year.
Oh, surprises.
Yes.
We love
That's fun.
Yes.
That's so fun.
So anyway, it's fun. I think everybody considers themselves a winner just to be juried in because you are competing
it really
against the
is.
best in the world.
That is huge because it's a huge international draw.
Yes, it certainly does.
I was going to say, speaking of international, we've got a lot of people from all over the place coming in here.
Ron is cleaning and organizing, so maybe he'll stop by our studio.
Oh, do you think? Come on over, Ron.
Well, I saw some, they're from some other countries and another good international following and statewide.
Isn't that fun?
Stateswide.
Yes.
Well, and that means the people that are in the west part of the country have gotten up early this morning to be able to tune in to watch us,
Yes,
haven't they?
that's true. We've got some beautiful quilts hanging behind us today. They are on, the bird here is actually a great blue heron that is done, that was made by Kathy Koch. It's quilted by Allison PAAQT and inspired by Tony Whitney. Now these, well, let me go ahead and say this, the other quilt that is very much silk fabric and just
beautiful.
very lustrous
That color is rich.
it's called FRONDS III by Doris Goins. And we're happy to have these here. They are part of an exhibit that was from the challenge, the yearly challenge of PAAQT. And if you ever see that around,
It's a lot of letters.
that is an acronym for Professional Association of Appraisers of Quilted Textiles. So it's an appraisers group. Now there's an exhibit that has been traveling and will be traveling to all of the Quilt Week events, and they're going to be auctioned at the spring Paducah show at for the museum.
And yeah, that's the funds will go to the
It's a
National Quilt
fundraiser.
Museum.
Oh,
A fundraiser.
that's fabulous.
So we're going to have we have these two this week. We've got another couple we're going to show you next week, and it's your opportunity if you want to keep in touch with the National Quilt Museum website. I'm sure you can get some more information about these. But they're really pretty, aren't they?
They are, and you know, the silk quilt, you know, we don't talk too much about working in silk.
So beautiful.
But one of the things about silk is it may be directional with the light, the way it hits it.
Yes.
And so you can use that to your advantage, but if you want it to all run the same way, you need to make sure you do run it all the same way.
That is true.
But yeah, and there are more people all the time working in silk.
It quilts so beautifully.
It does.
And the light just dances on it. And this one has some very interesting dimension.
Dimension is a great word because
I was trying to think of it.
it's
That was just fascinating.
got some cattails there that are, if you saw
than
them
life-size.
in person, yes, I think they are almost larger than life size.
They're very
And
puffy.
I'm not sure how
so fun.
Doris made those, but, oh no, it's Kathy's. I'm not sure how Kathy made those, but.
That one
it's-
also has some nice thread painting on it.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
It's very beautiful.
And a lot of the pieces in the body are just separate, thin pieces of fabric. It's
Amazing
really
how
pretty.
they there.
And
Well,
Paul,
we like showing quilts, don't
We
we?
do.
Yeah,
We
and
love
getting
it.
to
We love
talk
it.
about what's going on in them. Well, and so that kind of leads us to AQS Quilt Week. And I just want to share with you that we have some really fun special events happening at Daytona Beach.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And on Wednesday night, we have our All-Star Review. And if you haven't ever attended before, All-Star Review are demos by the instructors. They each do like a 10-minute demo. You get a nice little handout with a page from each one of those instructors. And afterwards, you can collect their autographs, and sometimes they'll have some books or some items
Oh,
to
right.
sell. That's always a sellout. So
I was gonna
don't-
say that sells out, doesn't
yes,
it?
it
Yes,
does.
that's
You
hugely
know what?
popular.
I think for the money, that's probably one of the best deals in the whole
That
show
would be such
because
a
you get
treat
to
to
hear
get to
from
see all
about
of them.
8 or 10 instructors. And then on Thursday night, we have an evening with Adita Sitar.
Oh,
Everybody
wow.
loves Adita's quilts.
I wonder if that's sold out yet because it's,
no, I don't think any of them are quite sold out, but
Oh.
they're
Oh,
doing well.
She's just adorable.
she is going to be
So talented.
really interesting to listen to.
And for the first time ever, we have Ricky Timms teaching at one of our shows that is not Paducah. He's going to be in Daytona Beach with us, and so he's going to be our program for Friday night.
So
Oh, that'll be a blast.
he's stepping
Yes.
out of the Colorado winter to get to Florida, I think, too.
And yes, I don't doubt that one bit. We're doing that as well, right?
Yes.
and I will just say it'll be a musical program. You know,
How
he
fun.
always tells stories and shows quilts, and he'll be teaching there that week too. So I know his quilts are filling fairly
That is
quickly.
A huge lineup, Bonnie.
It is, and
How
you
much
know,
fun.
It's gonna be great.
We have lots of things, something for everyone at our AQS Quilt Week events.
Me too.
Yes.
So fun. Well, we
And-
look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, and then I just want to remind you once again, January 8th is when we're going to open Spring Paducah registration for AQS members. This is one of those benefits that AQS members get 2 weeks advance notice to register for our shows. So
For the workshops.
mark
Yeah,
your
great.
calendar. Yes, mark your calendar because that's always like about 40 teachers. And it's our largest show of any of them that we do.
So if you want to reserve your spot, it's worth being a member for that, just for that alone. I
It
think.
is. Well, and actually, if you take any classes, you save your membership almost
Oh,
on
true.
one registration,
Very true.
as well as your admission to the show. So we invite everybody to join us at Daytona Beach, Lancaster, and Spring Paducah. And
We're
beyond
looking
that,
forward to a great 35th year.
We do,
35th
and watch for some
anniversary
fun
year.
things that we'll be doing for our 35th anniversary, and we'll see you here next week.